Recording in progress.
What up? What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. I'm your homie Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, no doubt. Shout out to all of our Facebook Live viewers right now. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on the Facebook page. Click the like button. Also follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. And you can follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And you can follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. My brother, what's good, man? How we feeling today?
What's up? Good, man. I also want to add, make sure y'all click the little notification joint so when we go live, it'll alert y'all, let y'all know we going live.
No doubt. Facts.
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm sure this is a part of your agenda like it is mine, but it's important to me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start with it.
Get with it.
Jamal Crawford, man. I know this ain't the big news. Just important to me. Jamal Crawford retired, man. I just want to say congratulations, and I don't care what nobody say, and I don't know what the word on the street is, but he's a Hall of Famer to me, and I don't care what nobody say. Mm-hmm. Congratulations to the legend Jamal Crawford.
Man, I'm glad you started off, bro, because I didn't even have that in my notes anywhere. And I totally forgot that he made the announcement. Granted, it was sort of a quiet announcement because I think was he doing NBA TV stuff?
He was kind of waiting for a job, and I guess it kind of wasn't. But didn't he play with Brooklyn for a little while last year?
I thought he did. I thought he played for somebody. Yeah, I thought he played for somebody last year. But
but yeah, man. Man, congrats to the legend, man. And I hope your plans or whatever you plan on doing that it works out for you, man. But what hell of a career. It's funny because when I saw it, I made it my business on YouTube to go look up, just look at highlights, just be reminded. I did not know, and I know I'm about to fuck the stat up, but that's why we don't do ESPN and shit.
Yeah.
Next to Kobe, so Kobe number one, Jamal Crawford is number two, I believe, in game buzzer beaters, like game winning shots or some crazy stat like that.
Yeah.
So the story was I was listening to Joe Budden podcast, I think it was, and he was giving when Jamal Crawford played in New York, he was giving them grief about whatever. I guess the Knicks were bad, like they've been.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, you can't never disrespect me because only one person has hit more buzzer beaters than me, and that's Kobe Bryant. And that kind of stat that people don't talk about, you know what I'm saying, that kind of stat, that automatically shuts any heckler up.
Yeah. Congrats to Jamal Crawford. Is he and before I get to the question, actually, I do want to echo what you're saying, that he is a Hall of Famer. I personally think he's first ballot. If you've been in the league for 20 years, I don't care how many teams you've been on, but just the impact that you had on each stop that you were on speaks for itself. And combined with the stat you just read, to me, it solidifies that, to me, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I got this question for you. Is he the greatest sixth man of all time in NBA history?
Yes. For me. Sorry,
Okay.
for me, yes.
Okay. Because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, who's some, J.R. Smith. I like J.R. Smith. He was sixth man of the year a couple of times, in his career, but I
guess you would put Manu Ginobili probably in that conversation.
Manu Ginobili definitely is in the conversation for that.
Jason Terry's in that conversation, I would think.
Yes, facts. Forgot about Jet Terry, but yeah. But I think if we're just throwing those four names out there, Jamal Crawford is the dude.
Yeah,
of all of them.
I agree.
The longevity, the clutch shots, the buzzer beaters, I think he's the guy.
I agree.
No championships to speak of, but that's okay because
Yeah,
don't
plenty Hall of Famers don't
plenty of
have
Hall
him.
of Famers that don't have him. He's just gonna be on that list of guys that don't have rings, but that's okay. There were some great ones
Yeah,
that didn't have rings, so
facts.
salute to the homie Jamal Crawford for that.
Yes, sir. Salute.
So Tyreek Hill, I think this. I thought this was the biggest story of the week in
Obviously.
sports. Traded to the Miami Dolphins from the Chiefs. The Dolphins gave up a first round pick. They gave up two fours, a second, and a sixth. I think they did. I think three of those picks are in this coming draft, and then the final two picks I think are in next year's draft.
Okay.
My thoughts immediately. I'm just thinking about how much better Jalen Waddle is going to be because
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill is going to command all that attention and it's going to leave opportunities for Jalen Waddle to, be that guy. So that's what I think about
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. Well, immediately. Well, the first thing was let's be clear. This is clearly a direct result of Devontae Adams getting his contract because, for all intents and purposes, I didn't see this coming at all as far as Tyreek Hill wanting to be traded or any of those types of things. I mean, Chiefs obviously have had a Super Bowl caliber team, and now we kind of got a question: is this a Super Bowl caliber team with him being gone? But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But Tyreek Hill immediately seeing Devontae Adams becoming the highest paid receiver, deservedly so.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, where my bread at? I need my bread,
Yep.
and he went and got it. I mean, the Dolphins, probably had the best off season of best off season so far, and this is just another notch on the belt. I think as far from a football perspective, obviously I agree with what you're saying. Jalen Waddle was going to benefit from this greatly. It's hard to guard those two receivers along with Gesicki, and if they hold on to Devontae Parker, even him, that's just really tough to guard. Then, um, here's the thing, man. It comes down to who
Tua.
Tua's going to be. It comes down to is he going to take the next step? Everybody around tends to think he can make that step.
Yep.
Um, and we just gonna have to find out.
Right.
We're just gonna have to find out. I mean, because now here we are. But they put the offensive weapons around him.
Yep. Yep. And they have a new coach. So we can't forget about
Yep.
that part also. So it's going to be a totally different offense that Mike McDaniel's going to run. And I think, given his past team in San Fran, a team that runs the ball a lot in that system, I think he's going to implement some of those same things with the Dolphins. And I think that's going to help Tua out tremendously. I also think that's going to help the wide receivers tremendously as well.
I
They
agree.
could they could they could use a threat at running back though. Like if they could find that one dude that's a
Well, how do you feel about Chase Edmonds is there? Um, and there's another guy they signed in the offseason that I'm forgetting right now. But I mean, they have attempted to add to the running back with Chase Edmonds. I don't know how high you were on Miles Gaskin. I know a lot of people were high on him last year, and he didn't quite live up
right,
to
right.
to the expectations. But Chase Edmonds is definitely there. And then, like I said, there was another guy. Um, I don't know that Chase Edmonds is a number one, but I do know that with if they plan on becoming a pass happy team, Chase Edmonds will thrive in that.
Yeah, yeah. I like Chase Edmonds, and I think he'll be great under the system that he's bringing in. And I don't know about Miles Gaskin. I don't know if that's a guy that's gonna be your third running back on this team, but if it's anything like the run game in San Francisco, I think those guys
Mostert
could
is the guy that
thrive.
they bought in. I'm glad
Oh,
Mostert
Mostert.
is the guy they bought
Mostert.
in.
Okay.
Mostert, yep.
Okay.
That's
Oh
the guy they
yeah.
bought in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think if he implements that similar system in like in San Fran, they gonna be alright. With the running backs they
Yeah.
got, they gonna be alright. It's like you said, it's
Yeah.
gonna be up to
Yeah.
Tua to,
It's
take it
really
to the
gonna
next
be
step.
it's really gonna be up to two of the defenses. I mean, they're not top. I don't know if they're top 10, but they're a good defense.
Good defense, yep.
And if Tua is taking advantage of those weapons, they kind of I don't know if I'm going to put them up there with Buffalo yet, but easily the second best team in their division, and certainly paper wise then got themselves into the playoffs
I was gonna say this is a better football team than they were before they got Tyreek Hill.
significantly.
Yeah, this is. I mean, you can argue, and I know you've said this about Tyreek Hill in the past about he's really not a number one. He's just
Yeah, that's out.
there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I think that's out the window now.
but I mean, he might be a top 10 player in the whole NFL for the last
Yeah,
2-3 years. He just might be that. I don't know because NFL Network they do the top 100 players every season, and I've kind of been shying away from looking at that. I don't really follow that like I used to, but I just wonder like where does the league rank Tyreek Hill in terms of the top 100? I think
right.
he's been top 10 for about a couple years now, if not 3 years.
Um, I don't know if he's been top 10 for the past few years, but he's definitely been. I would say definitely top 20. But he's there. He's one of the best players in the league.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah. So yeah,
you got to account
I
for
tend
that
to
dude.
agree with you.
You,
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure,
dude is fast, bruh, and
for sure.
you give him any space, he's gonna burn you.
Yeah, yeah, and for real, it's foolish to single cover him at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I expect that team to be right in the ranks of the other AFC teams that are competing this year. The drawing a blank, the Chiefs. Even though I think they take a step back, but the
Yep.
Chiefs and the Ravens and the
Buffalo.
I'm Buffalo. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Buffalo. All those teams,
Yeah.
but all those teams, you gotta put Miami right with all those other teams
Yep.
as
Yep.
far as this battle for this AFC crown. The AFC is going to be interesting to say the least.
If you're a team that's not the Jets, the Texans, the Jaguars, you have a shot in the AFC to make the
Yeah,
playoffs. If you're
yeah,
not those three teams,
yeah.
you have a shot.
I don't know, man, but I think it's more teams than that don't have a shot. But I wait till
Okay.
it's really worth having that conversation.
Okay. All right. The NFL announced that they have changed the overtime rule for the postseason, and I thought it was just for regular season and postseason, but it's just for the postseason. So, to my understanding, both teams will possess the ball regardless of if both teams score a touchdown. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Interesting. So what's gonna happen if it's tied again?
I mean, then I would assume that it's sudden death. I would assume.
Okay.
I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline, but I would assume that it's going to just be sudden death.
Right.
And I mean, look, man, you know how I feel about it. It should be sudden death. Period. I mean, it just takes for me. It takes stakes away. It's this playoff game. That overtime, them first possessions aren't as important. I mean, I get that they wanted it can end on one play. It could be a 4th and 1, and it can end on
Yep.
a run play that doesn't work. And I get that there's suspense there, but
Yep.
the way I feel, man, it should end on a score. That's what it should end on, a score, not a 4th and 1, not it should end on a score, and that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be nothing extra. Whoever scores first, scores first. Like, why
Right.
are we giving these outs? Why are we giving these outs to teams, to defenses? Defense is a part of the game.
You know what it is, man. It's whenever there's a marquee quarterback matchup, and the losing
It's
quarterback
Buffalo
doesn't
and
see the
Kansas City
ball.
last year.
That yeah, when the losing quarterback doesn't see the ball in overtime, that's when this conversation starts, right? So this is what this is in response to. People, they want to see Josh Allen with the football in overtime. They want to see Aaron Rodgers with the ball in overtime. They want to
Yeah,
see these
yeah.
marquee
Mahomes, Russell
quarterbacks.
Wilson, like
Yeah,
all these guys. Yeah,
they want to see
Lamar
these
Jackson. They want to
quarterbacks
see these guys.
possess the ball in overtime. That's really what this is about. I mean, the league doesn't really care about defense like they used to, and they're basically telling the defense, look, we're catering to these quarterbacks. Stop them.
Yeah, right.
That's it. Like, you
But
know,
they're not even really saying stop them. They're really saying, um, us the consumers seeing them is more important than what you have to offer.
yep, exactly.
There, obviously the quarterbacks are the premier position of the league, and we don't care if T.J. Watt sacks you, on fourth down. If well, let me not use Pittsburgh because they don't have a good quarterback right now. If Mahomes is playing Russell Wilson, we don't care that Chubb got the sack on Mahomes. We still want to see the other offense. Well, I think I'm saying that wrong, but in short, they want to see both offenses. They want to see those quarterbacks
Yes,
get an opportunity. I get it, but yeah, like I said, for me, it just cheapens it cheapens the value for defensive players, on a consumer level.
right. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And quite frankly, and I think you said it earlier, to have a game end on a score, to me, that seems more exciting and more exhilarating than having a game end on, a fourth down, or
Yeah,
or I mean, a pick, an interception to end the game. That's not bad, I mean, because that's within the confines of, the game. But it is what it is, man. I didn't care either way they voted, but
yeah,
just just make the
yeah.
calls right. Like, I don't care. Just make correct calls during the overtime. That's all
But
I
see,
care
we
about.
know but we know that's never gonna happen.
I know. I know.
Because nobody really knows what rules are anymore. Like it's always at the, I don't. It's going to at some level be to the mercy of the officials. So it's just always going to be that. I just don't like defenses play football, man. They get. I mean, some of these pass rushers get paid a lot of money. Cornerbacks get paid a lot of money in their market. Like
Yeah.
like play football.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But one thing for certain, man, we're gonna see both offenses, get their rocks off in these playoff
Yeah.
games. So, something interesting I saw earlier today. So, the state of New York has passed this, not a bill, but they're giving money to the Buffalo Bills to build a new stadium right outside of the city of Buffalo. I think it's in a range of 1.8 billion dollars. I might be off on the number there, but I
Okay.
know I know about 70% of that money is coming from taxpayer money, which I don't like. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that any of the taxpayer money has to go to the stadium being built. I think that owners who have, deep pockets the way they do, I think they should fund their own stadiums. That's just me.
Yeah.
But that's happening. You,
But I'm sorry, that's a traditional practice though that taxpayers pay a percentage of stadiums, right?
it is a tradition. I just
I get that 78% sounds really high, but
yeah, yeah. It's I mean, if you ask me, I think that every taxpayer that puts their dollar towards the stadium should get a free ticket to a game or tickets
mm-hmm,
to a game. Cause
mm-hmm,
you know, like if I live in Buffalo, I'm basically funding your stadium. Like I should get some kind of deal out of that, at least in
yeah.
regards to the Buffalo Bills. You know what I'm saying? Like I should be able to
Well,
get access to free merchandise, a game or two, a suite for once a week or something like that. Like I should be getting those things if I'm a taxpayer.
yeah, they'd be losing a lot of money giving away suites to fans
And like I
just because they
said
pay
once, and like I
taxes.
said just one time. I'm not saying give
I'm
me,
just saying,
regular I'm not saying make me a season ticket holder
yeah,
for
I get
free.
it.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
I'm just saying
saying.
that that's. I'm just saying that that becomes. I'm just saying that it's very costly to do that.
Mm,
Look. I don't have the same vigor, or I don't necessarily. Look, fans enjoy football games. So I mean,
yep.
and I get that they pay for it. So obviously they pay for the tickets and all those things. But if they want the best experience, and obviously entertainment runs the world, they want the best experience. So just go ahead and I don't have a problem with it coming out of taxpayer money. And with Buffalo, the uprising of Buffalo becoming a Super Bowl contending team for the
Yes.
past let's say 2 maybe 3 years,
Right.
um, you know they obviously bringing in the revenue to upgrade, and I don't think fans would have so much of a problem with it because they're happy that Buffalo's winning.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I get it. That I get these are the things that come with it. I guess I'd be a little more dissatisfied with it if Buffalo was a losing team and now you're trying to make us pay for a new stadium as if that's going to make them a better team, or we're going to be more excited about going to the stadium to watch the team lose. But I
Yeah.
mean, you got a franchise quarterback, and you're winning games. You know, this is one of those. This is the time where you would want to get the fan support while the fans is behind you.
Yep. Yep.
I don't think I'm pretty sure most fans are don't even doesn't even bother them.
Yeah, I think the smart fans know that having pro sports in your town means economic growth, right? If you're a
Yeah.
small business
Mhm.
owner and you own a sports bar, you own a hookah bar, people want to come to your establishment to watch these games, in your city. So they know that, with the team in town, you're gonna get revenue. You're gonna benefit off of that as a small business person. So
Right.
the fans are smart enough to know that the team leaves. That's an economic blow to the city, and a city
Yeah.
like Buffalo, a place that I've been to on numerous occasions, needs that. You know what I'm saying? They need the Bills, like
Yeah.
probably more than any other city in this country. That city needs that team to stay there. So
Right.
so that if the fans are smart, they're not dumb when it comes to that kind of thing. Here's the breakdown of how this money is getting distributed. So the state of New York is giving $600 million in taxpayer money. The county, and I don't know what the name of Erie County. So Erie County is giving up $250 million. So that's $850 million total from the state and the county combined.
Mhm.
The owners, the Pagulas, $350 million, and the league only $200 million. So
Wow.
I'm not far off on that 70 something percent.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not far
Right.
off on that. I was actually just
Yeah.
throwing a percentage out there because I knew the numbers were just all over the place. But yeah, that's the breakdown. Um,
Mm.
but they gonna make it happen. So after reading this story, right? So I'm on a timeline and I'm reading about two more teams that are trying to get stadiums built. So the Titans, I read this from, I think this is from the Score or something like that. So the governor of Tennessee is proposing $500 million in bonds in the state budget to help fund a stadium for the Titans. And my initial reaction is that stadium's not that old. Like that team's been there what 22 years, something like that. Like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Or
that's
90, no, 90, no, longer than,
98,
well, but not
90,
far off.
not
Yeah,
far off.
98.
98, 99.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that stadium is not that old. I'm sure they've made upgrades throughout the years to keep up with the technology and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of shocked, from their perspective that this is what the state's trying to do there. And then the third team that was on this list of, potential talks of a new stadium, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm kind of surprised at that.
That makes sense too.
That's
I'm not. Well, tell me why you're surprised though.
Well, I'm surprised because they've had Arrowhead for so long that it almost seems like it's sacrilegious to dump
But
that
it's not even
place.
called Arrowhead anymore, right?
It still is. I think they got some, sponsor to, naming rights,
Okay.
but they still call it Arrowhead attached to the name. But
Okay.
I just think in terms of nostalgia, I think they've been over the years trying to make sure they keep that place because folks talk about it's one of the loudest stadiums in the league. They've made upgrades over the years to meet up with requirements technology wise and all that stuff. And I think something interesting here that I think is sort of relatable to the Washington Commanders and their pursuit to get in the stadium in another state. So what I'm reading here is there's Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas. I just learned about that. I didn't even know that was the case. So I guess both states, cut right through the city. I guess is
Right.
what from a geographical standpoint. And there's a lot of talk about they could possibly move the stadium over into the Kansas side versus the Missouri side, and there's a lot of pushback on that, which is totally understandable. You want to keep the team in the state, and
Sure.
you don't want to lose it. So that's why I'm surprised because it's been there for so long that it almost feels like they're not gonna do anything for it in the near future. I understand, and I think I know where you're going with it. That you're not surprised. Um, what you're seeing in these cities, particularly where the stadiums are downtown, people want to go to the sports bar. They want to go to Maryland Live. They want to go to these places that is walking distance from the stadium. They want to go to these
Yep.
places after they come from the game. Even if you're a fan and you can't afford a ticket to go to the game, you want to be near the
In
stadium
the
in some
area.
capacity. You
Yeah.
want to be amongst a
Yeah.
crowd of people having fun, rooting for the team, getting drunk and all that stuff. And so I think in the Kansas City situation, because that's a big parking lot and there's nothing else around that stadium other than where the Royals play at, so there's really nothing there that fans can go to. It's just you go to a game, the game's over, you get in your car and you drive home.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So I could see it from that standpoint. Hey, they're just trying to maybe put some kind of economic structure around the stadium so that more fans can, flock to the stadium, flock to these businesses. Money's being made. That's really what it is. It's all about capitalism.
Yeah, and much like the other what's the team we talking about for the Titans? The
Oh, Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl contender, franchise quarterback, ideally the best quarterback in the league. Also, man, a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people would be at least be wise for a lot of people to be following the Golden State. The Golden State the what
Mm-hmm.
they were do what they do is like, all right, we got a rabid fan base with a playoff contending team with a superstar on the team.
Yep.
We pay, and he's paid. We got to make some of that money back off of him. Like,
Yeah.
people are coming to games to see Patrick Mahomes, to see
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? And those guys, we got to make that money back. So we need to make a infrastructure,
Yep.
just like you said, with where everybody is, sports bar here, the Mahomes beer that costs $28. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, we got to make these moments and make these products so we can make some of that money back. And obviously, all of these bars and clubs and possible casinos and things, they in business with this the stadiums and with the
Yep.
NFL. So it's just a dollar circulation situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Every Kansas City fan is going to want to be in that area, even if they don't make the actual inside the actual stadium. They want to be in that area.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
I
and
mean,
just to add to that too, I think what's going to come with the construction of these new stadiums also is the construction of new public transportation, because
yeah,
everybody don't have a car, and people want to go to the game, and people want to take the train or the bus or whatever to the
hmm,
stadium and stuff. So that's going to generate a lot of cash also, is
yeah.
people getting on the train and going to the game. So you
Yeah,
know
it reminds me of when the Nationals won the championship a few years ago,
hmm
and I wasn't in the stadium, and they didn't even win in the stadium. They weren't at the stadium
they
when
were on
they
the
won,
road. Hmm.
but yeah, but I was in the bar
Yep.
that was a block away from the stadium.
Hmm.
So immediately when we had officially won, we all screamed and cheered in the bar, and then walked outside, and it was fucking pandemonium. Everybody
Yep.
was outside celebrating
Yep.
and doing all the, what I'm saying. And it's those kind of moments that generate dollars.
Hmm. Right.
So it's just that thing. I mean, we see it all the time on sporting events when the team is on the road, and then they show the fans at the home stadium,
Hmm.
Raptors row and all with all those types of things. So
Right.
it's just the evolution of that.
Yeah, I think another example of that in the NBA was the Milwaukee Bucks, because the Bucks had a new arena built for them also, as the Greek Freak was entering the prime of his career, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden the Bucks were good again, and the Bucks started selling out tickets and stuff, and they said, "Oh, we need a new facility. We need to get on board with getting our fans involved and all that stuff." And you saw it with the
right,
finals last year. They was outside the
right,
building, and fans was crowding the streets and all that stuff. So yeah, I think every city is trying to go for that. It does set a precedent though for places that have only been existence for 20 years. I mean, I've talked about the Braves Turner Field a few years ago. They decided, up, we got to leave Turner Field and go someplace else. I
hmm,
think the Texas Rangers did the same thing. Up, we got to leave where we're at. We got to go next to Jerry World. So it, you
yeah,
know it's gonna be a precedent. I don't think it's just these teams that I've read today that are doing this. I think you're gonna start to hear this about other sports and the stadiums, and just kind of examining, okay, we need to create an atmosphere around the stadium. We need to be able to have people walk to the game, take the train, whatever. We need to have them sitting at the
right,
bar and having fun, cheering on the team and all this stuff. So
right.
it brings, I mean, it brings a lot of revenue to these cities and stuff. So I expect to see that over the next, I would say, over the next year, for real.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
March Madness. I want to give a shout out to St. Peter's, man.
Hmm.
I know they got blown out against UNC on Sunday, but that was a great run they had, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about
The longest run for a Cinderella team.
the longest run I think for a 15 seed because I think that was the
Okay,
first 15 to go to the Elite Eight.
the Elite Eight, right?
So that was to me. I thought that that was a great run for them. I mean, to knock off Kentucky, a powerhouse, in the middle of all that, and then to
Mm-hmm.
take Purdue out. I mean, Purdue, I don't think is. I think they're a
And that,
basketball program, but they're not like
right?
Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, or anything like that. But to knock that team off,
Yeah,
that's something special, man. So shout out to St. Peter's and the
yep.
coach Shaheen was hired by Seton Hall, and I knew that maybe about a week ago. I'm like, yo, this dude's stock is rising right now. Like you take
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky out and you get to the Sweet 16. Like yeah, your stock is up. Like it kind of reminds me of when Shaka Smart took VCU to the Final Four, what 10
Right.
years ago, and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden Shaka Smart's getting jobs at Texas and a couple other places and things like that. So Shaheen really made a name for himself. And Seton
Right.
Hall is a step up
It's a high step up. Yep.
from St. Peter's. Seton Hall is in the Big East conference, so shout out to him, for getting the
Yeah,
bag and stepping up and getting that notoriety.
for sure.
So
For sure. Shout out to him. Seems like they are vying for a Duke UNC.
that's what they wanted, man. That's
Yeah, seems like they're vying for that.
that's what they wanted. I ain't gonna front, bro, because I was intrigued to see if St. Peter's could pull it off against UNC. I was intrigued, and it was 9-0, and then that lead went from 10 points to 15 points, and then it went from 15 points to 20 points at the half,
Yeah.
and it's like okay, let's see, maybe if they cut it to 10, maybe they got a shot, but then that lead went up to I think 25 points in the second half. So it's like, okay, all right, the Cinderella run is done.
Yeah. Yep.
But they
Yep.
got the powers that be. They got what they wanted. They got the Duke
Seems that way.
versus North Carolina. If you remember the season finale, Duke lost at home to North Carolina. That
North
was
Carolina. Yeah.
Coach K's final regular season home
Home
game,
game. Mm-hmm.
and he came out afterward and addressed the crowd and said, "Yo, this is unacceptable. I'm not going to take this, whatever." And so now here we are in a revenge spot for Coach K.
Yeah. So it would seem that the college powers that be probably want him to go out on top.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Um, and 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 as if say what you will about Duke, and they've been the hated team for everybody else besides Duke fans.
hmm
Um, at this stage of the game, you kind of gotta let your legends be your legends. So I'm respectfully I'm pulling for them too at this stage of the game.
Well, I'm only pulling for Duke because my bracket's still intact. I got Duke
Uh
and
huh.
I got Duke and Villanova in the last game, and I'm right on
Right.
target to be that. So, shout out to those teams and shout out to Villanova and Kansas. They're gonna duke it out on Saturday also.
Yeah.
I think the concern with Villanova right now is that guard, that point guard, tore his Achilles in the previous game. So they're gonna
Mhm.
be without him, and that could kind of deter their chances, and maybe that opens the door for Coach K to go out on top. Maybe
Yeah.
this is what do you call it? This is
Divine
divine
intervention.
intervention. Yeah, yeah. Maybe maybe this is
I
destined
mean,
what it's
I
to
mean,
be.
look, man. For all intents and purposes, Coach K is the best college coach, the basketball college coach, men's anyway, to do it.
hmm
So I mean, you know,
I'm not as familiar with John Wooten, but I know people put John Wooten in that conversation as well.
yeah, sure, sure. But for me, it's K, Coach K,
hmm
just is.
Right now it is. Yes.
I mean, like, while me in the world, while I've been on this earth,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been Coach K.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is it? I mean, obviously they don't win it every year, and there's people that coaches, good coaches that come and go.
Yep.
But I mean,
Yeah.
for my life existence, it's been Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. No question. No question about it. And Villanova. Speaking of coaches, Villanova's got a really good one in Jay Wright too, man.
Sure.
He could possibly win his third one in what 6 years, because they won in 16 and then they won in 18. So yeah,
18, yeah.
he's got a chance to get a third one, and I think that would put him in a much more elite company than he is right now if he's not there already.
Yeah, no, I think he's in elite company, but I don't think he's in the Roy Williams, the Bill Self, the Coach K. I don't think
Right.
he's there. The
The
Tom
longevity's
Izzo.
not there
I don't
yet.
think. Yeah, but yeah, obviously Jay Wright is one of the better coaches in the game right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So, what you think? Duke going win the whole thing?
I
Is
think
that where you
though,
at
I
with it?
think Duke gets. At least I'm rooting for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sticking with Villanova only because I picked
Yeah, sure, of course
Villanova.
you are. Of course you are. I didn't do a bracket this year, so
But that the homie getting hurt, that I don't know. I don't know now, but I got to stick with Villanova on this one. So, Bobby Wagner, still a free agent, visited the Ravens the other day, left the building. Don't know what to make of it. I don't know what the offer was. Seems like the Rams are still interested in his services as well. So I'm just hoping that they can call him back to the building and get a deal done.
well, it seems the price is $11 million a year. Um, so we'll see. Like, is that something? Do you figure that's something y'all do? $11 a year for a middle linebacker.
11 million
I
for
get that he's the caliber of linebacker you would pay for, but
yeah.
I don't think you guys. I don't know that you guys would do that. I don't know that.
Um. Yeah, they could be a little wishy washy, man. They have a price, right? They have a threshold, and they just kind of work it down from that point on. And I don't know what the Ravens number is, or what they're trying to get to, but I mean the guy's what, all pro, 8 times in the Pro Bowl, like leading tackler almost every year, like. You got to make an exception for this guy. At some point, you just got to say,
I mean,
forget
do you feel
the
any
rules and just go ahead and give him the money, and let's get on the
any
Super Bowl run.
reservation? Any reservation for 11th? A guy going to his 11th year.
Nope,
Okay.
nope, not when you've been that consistent. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just talking about from, like I said, from an economic thing. See, the thing is that as much as I wanted Bobby Wagner, money wise,
Yeah.
I'm okay with Miles Jack because
Right.
Miles Jack isn't as good as Bobby Wagner, but he's sufficient and he's cheaper. I think he'll do a serviceable job. Maybe not as good as a job as Bobby Wagner, but it'll be a comparable job for significantly less.
Right. Exactly. And if you're the Ravens and you have a history of having all pros on defense, this is the guy that's gonna fit with the Ravens in my book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he'd be. I mean, the last middle linebacker, obviously was Ray Lewis. So you get Bobby Wagner, that's gonna set the defense up, for good. I mean, we're still gonna need some pass rush, no question, but I would just hate for him to not come back in the building and work something out. I would just hate that for him, and rightfully so. He should be asking for $11 million. The fact that Von Miller,
absolutely,
who's not Von Miller of 6-7 years ago, but
is
was
that
able
fair
to
to say,
get
though?
20 million.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess that's fair to say that he's not the same volume that he was in Denver, but he's still,
And he's not
maybe
washed
not
or
top
anything.
10.
He's not
Yeah,
washed. He can still play.
clearly, his pay had
Mm-hmm.
a lot to do with him winning a Super Bowl, and him having some key plays in that Super Bowl.
Right.
Um, along with his name and his resume. But
Yeah.
um, you know, I I don't know that Bobby Wagner demands. I don't think that you put Bobby Wagner in the same vein that you put Von Miller in,
Mm-hmm.
as far as his asking price, because of what Von Miller done recently,
Mm-hmm.
and also including his resume.
Okay, that's fair. I would ask this also. Do you think that was the Buffalo Bills' threshold, $20 million? Because I don't think it was.
Meaning, do you think they could have paid him more?
Meaning they wanted to lowball him, and then realize, oh shit, it's Von Miller. We in the AFC. We gotta load up. We gotta strap up. And
I
they just gave him the money.
I think they asked for more. Von Miller. I think Von Miller's people asked for more,
Okay.
and then they got down to 20.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
And as good as Von Miller is, I personally
Mm-hmm.
feel like they overpaid for him. But you kind of have to overpay for him if you need a pass rusher. You're in Buffalo's situation. You need a pass rusher, and he's gonna easily be your best pass rusher walking into the building. So
Right. Right.
when you
Okay.
when your leverage is up, your leverage is up.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious because I don't know that I would have paid Von Miller $20 million. Would I have
I
paid
know I
him
wouldn't have. I
15?
know I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Would I have paid him 15? I might have paid him 15, and I'm thinking maybe that's what the Buffalo Bills' threshold was until they got in that room and said, "Hey, y'all want to go to Super Bowl, or y'all just want to be, you know, stuck while everybody else is trying to load up?" And they just
Well, I
said,
tell you one
"Oh,
thing: Von Miller better get that. He better get them key sacks when it count.
mm-hmm, yeah,
That's
facts,
6 years, 120. That's 6 years, 120. And I assume that they don't like they're not strapped for that whole 6 years. Like if they wanted to get him out at year two, I would assume that they got clauses in the contract where
mm-hmm,
they're not eating up a whole bunch of money after 2 or 3 years.
right,
But that's a lot of. That's a lot of freaking money.
yeah, yeah, facts." Hey, shout out to Mocha Bella in the Facebook live chat. She's got a
What's
comment
happening?
about her Dolphins here, and I wish I'd have saw this earlier, but we were talking about the Dolphins. She says, with Tua always getting hurt, we might see Teddy Bridgewater. So Teddy Bridgewater, I forgot, signed with,
Hmm.
either he signed or he got traded to Miami. So Tua's the backup. And I think that's a pretty good option to have as a backup if you're Miami.
I mean, Bridgewater's the backup.
Bridgewater, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good. I mean, look. Um, I don't know that. I don't know, and I'm only saying I don't know because Bridgewater had. I don't think Bridgewater has had this kind of talent to work with ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that he's going to be as serviceable if something happens to Tua.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. But he's
Yeah.
definitely a good number two.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a good number two.
If Bridgewater has to play 3 games, I think he can go 2-1, depending on who
He'd
the
be fine.
opponent is.
He'd be fine.
Obviously, yeah, yeah. If he's only got to play that little, then I think he'll be
They'll
all
be
right.
fine. Yeah, like Miami has had a fucking great offseason.
Yeah,
To
and
reiterate.
and they're not done yet. It's like
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing. Like all these teams in the AFC aren't done yet because we still got
Yeah.
a draft coming up next month, and that's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
because they also got I know they got Connor Williams from Dallas, and didn't they get Slim from New Orleans, Armstead from New Orleans on the offensive line?
That I don't know, but yeah, I mean you're right in that they made some moves, but
Like they legit have made a lot of freaking moves.
yeah,
Cedric Wilson is another guy in the wide receiver core that they made moves.
yep, Jesse Armstead, right? That's the cat.
Jesse, okay.
Yeah, yep, he's with the Dolphins. Yep, or Teron Armstead.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, about to say I thought it was Teron Armstead, but
Teron
yeah.
Armstead. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
And then the Bengals got Lael Collins, the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
So that's
Just
huge for them
yeah.
too. That's huge for them
And
too.
uh, and bad for Dallas.
Yeah, yeah. That's another story right
They
there.
lost. That's two pieces off their offensive line that they lost.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor Williams at center, and then Collins at I think he's guard. But
Right.
yeah,
On top of the fact that they lost Randy Gregory also, so I
yeah,
mean you're depleting both of your lines of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah.
that's not good for Dallas. Andy Dalton got signed to a backup role with the Saints earlier today
Good for him.
on a 2-year deal. I forget the
Yeah,
dollars, but they signed him to a 2-year deal. So,
good for him.
but
Backup.
that quarterback room is better than what it was minus Jameis coming down the stretch last year because you had
Hmm.
Taysom Hill and then you had some other guy that was backing Taysom Hill up. I forget what game they was playing, but Taysom Hill had COVID and so he couldn't play. And this dude came out and we was like, "Yo, who's this nigga?" It might have been
Yeah.
the Bills game on Thanksgiving, but yeah, that the quarterback room has seen a significant upgrade in New
Well,
Orleans.
I'm gonna say this now. They should just go ahead and cut Taysom Hill. I
Mm-hmm.
also saw today that they have no intentions at putting him at quarterback this year. That they're going to
Tight end.
try him at tight end this year,
Yep.
like they did Tim Tebow, and we forget
Mm-hmm.
that Taysom Hill is not young. Taysom Hill came in the league at like 28, 29 years
Right.
old. And
Right.
so now they're playing this old, and I get it. He's the Swiss Army knife and all those things, but if you are expecting me to believe that he's going to pan out like a Tim Tebow project at tight end,
Yep.
I'm not buying it. Just cut him. If you don't want him, you're trying to find a reason to keep him on the team because he's a good guy. Look, I think you get in the way of, and I don't know what their tight end room looks like,
Right.
but I am 100% sure that you can find better at tight end than Taysom Hill. And so I say, man, let him go on
Let him
somewhere else or
go.
cut him in.
You can
Yeah,
find tight ends in a draft. Um, he wouldn't. He. I think he's built for a wide receiver role than he is for a tight end role. Just in terms of the body, I
yes.
don't. I don't see him.
Well, he's
Going
not
over the
fast.
that, and I don't see him going over the middle and taking those shots like that with the body he's got.
I think he got a good space. If you need a utility guy somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Saints is the fit for him anymore. And I get it. They like him,
Yeah.
and why wouldn't you? He does everything you ask him the best way he knows how. He's
Mm-hmm.
old. He's all those things. I'm sure he's leadership in the locker room, but like at this point, you're not. You can find somebody younger to do better at tight end. You just can.
I think the perfect question would be: do the Saints like him, or did Sean Payton like him?
Yeah, that's an even better question.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
that is a great question.
Because if it was Sean Payton that liked him, then yeah, I could see him getting up out the door. Sean Payton ain't there no more.
Hmm.
If I'm the Saints ownership, I'm like, well, I got you around for. Like, coach was talking you up like you was something special. Like, nah, y'all get up on out of here. And I don't know if that contract was real either. Like, I know they tried to make it seem like it was like one of those, mid prominent contracts, but I've always heard the talk that it was something that they could easily get out of. And that it was
Yeah,
something that they were trying to finagle with the cap and all that. So, if that's the case,
yeah. I don't
then
see.
that should be an
Yeah,
easy
I
cut.
yeah. I think that's a cut. I
Yeah.
think that's a cut.
Shout out to the homie Mo Cheese in the Facebook live chat. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
What's happening?
So I guess we got to talk about this because all the sports stations have been talking about it yesterday. Even some
We
early this
really
morning.
we don't have to. We don't
I
have to.
I know, but I'm interested to get your take on Will Smith slapping Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars on Sunday night, late Sunday night to be exact. I was about to go to sleep, and then my Twitter's going off, and Stephen A is slamming Will Smith on Twitter. I'm like, yo, what the hell Will Smith do? And then video resurfaces, and we like, oh shit, this nigga really slapped Chris Rock in the face.
Well, I'll tell you my first thought. My first thought is why do they feel like this was the front page story on Undisputed? Why is this the first thing y'all talk about on a sports show? That was my first thought.
Wasn't just undisputed.
In
Just for the record, it just wasn't
Sure.
undisputed.
Oh, I just happened to see Undisputed that day. So, cause
Face
I'm
First Take
normally not
talked
even
about
watching
it.
that.
First Take talked about it. Dan Lebatard talked about it. He even had Jamal Hill on his show to talk about the Oscars and
Yeah,
that incident. So everybody was
yeah.
talking about it. Like some radio shows opened up with Will Smith smacking
Well,
Chris Rock.
yeah. I'm sorry. If you're a sports radio show, I don't see why you should be opening up with that. That's not the biggest news. It just ain't if you're a sports show. But obviously, it's the biggest thing that's happened. My personal opinion is Will Smith should have smacked the shit out of Chris Rock, but I'm not mad at Chris Rock for telling the joke, and I tell you why. Not because it was a bad joke. It just wasn't a good joke. But here's the thing: uh, artists alike, they are heralded for going places that people won't go. And if you can find I think the biggest issue with this is that it just wasn't funny. If Jada would have laughed at the joke, then it's a joke. Even more importantly, if Will doesn't get up and smack Chris Rock, then we're not even making a big fuss about the joke.
Right.
So for me, that's Chris Rock's job as a comedian to try to push the envelope of funny. Like it's a musician's job to push the boundaries of music and painters to push, et cetera, et cetera. That's their job to push those boundaries. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Oops, my bad. On Will Smith's side, uh, that's my wife, bruh. And quite frankly, he laughed at it at first, and then he seen that his wife didn't approve. Now that's the second time that Chris Rock done said something about his wife, and his wife is dealing with a health condition that Chris Rock may or may not have known about. We don't know, but now you're attacking my wife's health deficiency. Yeah, I gotta see you. Period. To those who say Will Smith overreacted, you can't tell no man how to react, and that's his wife. So, you know, could you say he overreacted? That be your opinion, but for me, I'm of the opinion that, hey, bro, you shouldn't have said it. And again, I'm still on the side of Chris Rock saying that testing it, but guess what? That's a situation where where you tried to push the boundaries and it didn't work for you, and you got what came to you for it.
So I didn't watch the Oscars. I wasn't
Neither did I.
interested. I wasn't interested in watching any of that show. Um,
Nope.
so there's that. So like I said in the open, I'm about to go to sleep, and Stephen A. is on Twitter ripping Will Smith a new one, saying that he shouldn't have did it. He shouldn't have did that. Should have did it behind closed doors. And I had to go look for the video for myself. So there were two versions of the video. So one was the actual ABC broadcast, which they actually cut the sound out once
Yeah,
Will
of
Smith
course.
walked back to his seat, and then they opened the sound back up once Chris Rock continued on with the presentation. And then there's the other video from, I think it came from like an Australian feed that actually had the uncensored version of what was said. So obviously I went to see what he said. And so here's my thing. So number one, I had no idea that Jada Pinkett Smith had this alopecia
Alopecia,
condition.
and I knew, I knew.
You knew? Okay. Because
Hmm.
I think the country split on whether they knew prior to the joke or didn't know. I didn't know. Um, number two, I thought the joke was terrible. I thought the joke was terrible. I forgot that even G.I. Jane was an actual movie. So
Oh, you
when
mean the joke was terrible in premise?
in premise, yes,
Okay,
because
I thought it was a distasteful joke because I knew she had alopecia. You're saying it was just a bad joke because nobody knew what he was talking. But if you're talking
yeah,
about in premise, I understood the joke when he said it.
okay,
As soon as he said it,
right,
so I got the joke.
and
So
that's
I
tied
wouldn't
to
say in
you knowing about
premise.
her condition, right?
No, 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 no. I mean, I got the GI Jane reference immediately,
Gotcha.
so I didn't think it was a bad joke in preference in premise
Okay,
because I remembered GI Jane. I got it.
okay,
But again, it was that I know what alopecia is. I watched Jada talk about it and how she
mm-hmm.
shaved her head and I don't pretend to watch all the episodes, but I
Okay,
watched her in some respects chronicling
mm-hmm.
her journey of cutting her hair and talking
Okay.
about her condition. So I knew that was a thing.
Because Red Table Talk has sort of been off of my radar for about a year now. Because I used to
Hmm.
watch the episodes. I remember when she had the Curry women on there and all that stuff. But that was off my radar for about a year. So yeah. In premise, I thought the joke was terrible. I didn't get the GI Jane reference at that point. I did my Google search and remembered then and there that, oh, this was a movie
Yeah.
from the late 90s. Demi Moore was in G.I. Jane. She had a bald head. So, okay. So he's saying, okay, she looks like
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Demi Moore in G.I. Jane. Okay.
Or
Okay.
more importantly, not she looked like Demi Moore, but just with the shaved head, military women.
With the shaved head. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's like, okay. All right. Cool. Got it. Right. So once he tells a joke, they cut over to the Smiths, and Will is laughing, right? Like he's laughing at the joke. It's funny to him, and then you see Jada on his left just giving an eye roll, and I was like, up, yeah, she ain't feeling it. She not feeling it. And then they cut back to Chris Rock, and then seconds later, Will Smith walks up and slaps him and walks back to his seat. And then we know what happened after that with with the shouting and all that. So my take with that is Jada either told him to get up there or kind of gave him that that notification or that wink wink kind of a thing, like, hey, I ain't like what he did, hey, do something about it. And so Will got up, did what he had to do, albeit in front of a live audience, nationwide. He did it, went back to his seat, and that was that. I think the thing, and this is just a personal thing for me. I think the disappointment for me comes from the fact, Chris Rock, I get you a professional. I get you handled that situation well. I get that you were able to navigate the show, continue the presentation. And shout out to Questlove, because I thought
yeah.
Questlove got overshadowed by what happened, prior to
And
that.
that movie was like that.
Okay, I got to see that movie, by the way, too. So,
Yeah.
so shout out to Questlove, and really shout out to everybody that won awards too, because nobody's really talking about that. Everybody's talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. So,
Mm-hmm.
so Chris Rock, I get it. You professional. You were able to navigate the show after the moment. You were able to, because he caught himself. He said, if I could. Those were the three words he used. If I could. And then he must have got something in his ear that said, hey, you keep the show rolling. Keep the show rolling. I get it. But man, you from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, bruh. That for me was
Fuck that.
nah,
Fuck that. You a man.
nah.
You a
For me,
man.
again for me. You a nigga from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, bruh, and a nigga just slapped you on national television. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you would have took that after the commercial break in the back someplace and handle your business there, like, you had to see that nigga at some point, bruh. Like, and I don't know what happened after the fact. I know Denzel and
I know
Tyler
that
Perry
ain't fight.
Denzel and Tyler Perry walked over to Will Smith and was, saying some stuff to him and all that stuff. But if I'm Chris Rock, at some point, whether it was that moment or backstage during the next commercial break, I had to go see that nigga. I'm sorry.
Period.
That's just where
You're
I'm
not
at
gonna
with
get
it.
this. But that's the thing. You're not gonna get to see him because everybody gonna hold you back.
That's
You're
fine.
not. I'm not. You're not slapping me
That's
on. You're
fine.
not slapping me nowhere,
Right.
and I'm not swinging back nowhere.
And
And
that's fine.
that's not a borough. That's a man thing. You're not gonna slap me in my face. Whether I'm from Wichita, Kentucky, you're not gonna slap me in my face, and it be no repercussions.
and,
Period.
and and that's fine if he gets held back. At least you gotta make the attempt.
No, I'm talking about on site. Once you slap me, I'm coming back. We
No,
fighting.
I'm
That's a
saying no. You're saying it wouldn't have happened because you would have been held back. And my response to that is that's okay because at least I know
nah.
you
That's
trying to
not
get at
okay.
this dude. At least you're trying to get at
No,
the dude.
no, I'm getting at you. That sound like you talking about from an image perspective. I'm talking about from a man
No,
perspective. You not
from
about to
a
put your.
I'm talking about from a man perspective. That
You
so
not. I
what? So
don't.
what if somebody they could Jeff Van Gundy drag on my feet on my leg all day long? I'm getting after this guy. I don't care how many people are gonna be holding you back. You gotta go see him regardless.
You slap me in my face. Professionalism is out the window.
That's where
Period.
that's where that's where the disappointment for me comes at when it comes to Chris Rock.
Yeah, nah. I get it. It's money involved, all those things. Professionalism is officially out the window because let's be clear, there has been no and I get Chris Rock decided not to press charges, but Will Smith had no consequences for slapping a man in the face. And I get it.
Yep.
Again, and
By
I get
nobody.
it.
By
Will
nobody.
Smith.
Not Chris Rock.
Well,
Not the
well,
not the awards. Cause look, I mean, if that was anybody else other than Will Smith, another black man other than Will Smith, they would have kicked his ass out. The ceremony.
that's hypotheticals. And I agree with you by the way, but that's hypotheticals. I don't know what would have happened with if Samuel L. Jackson or Denzel Washington
Well, that's why.
would have slapped
Well,
somebody in
I
the
think
face.
those. I think those guys. I think people like those guys, but I'm just talking about if it's anybody that's not on their level, right? If it's
Well,
anybody not
yeah.
on their level, then they're getting kicked out.
So again, I'm just talking that again. I'm just talking what was that what we know to be there. You slap me in my face. You're not getting that off. As a man, you're not gonna just slap me in my face and then walk away. And I ain't jumped on your back and I ain't punched you in your back of your head or something. It's not happening.
That's the
That's no.
disappointment for
That's
me.
the this.
That's
Yeah,
the disappointment for
I'm
me.
not talking. He's not making it back to his seat without a fight. Period.
That that's a
He's not
disappointment for
making it
me.
back to his seat.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's the route, I mean that's the route he decided to take. Will Smith apologized yesterday night, and you take from it what you will. I mean, but I don't fault Will Smith for slapping him either. Like I said, but that's just one of those situations where man got to fight. Two brothers got an issue that got to be resolved physically,
He had to
and
see him. He
to
had to
those
see him.
yeah.
He had to see him.
Because if I'm Will Smith, I totally understand that position. I totally understand that position where your woman is disrespected and you got to do something immediately because otherwise she looking at you crazy. And more than that, from a man perspective, you don't want to see your wife, feel embarrassed about something that you know she's going through because you live in the house with her every single
Right.
day. So Will
Right.
Smith is 100% that reaction, I have no problem with that reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got
again,
no
from the Chris Rock
problem.
standpoint,
I got no problem with Chris Rock even just telling the joke, right? Even though I thought it was a corny joke. I don't have a problem crossing that, that kind of boundary because as a comedian, you go to dark places that no one will ever go to. I don't have an issue with that. To the people that are saying, "Oh, he was wrong. Chris Rock was wrong." No, I don't think he was wrong. He was doing what
it
he
didn't.
does best. It
He
just didn't
missed.
work out. Yeah, it
He
just didn't
missed.
work
He
out. That's
missed.
all. That's
Because
all.
if we're gonna sit here and act like, if we're gonna sit here and act like Chris Rock is the only person that's ever made fun of somebody's health conditions, like that's just not the truth.
Right.
So again, you know, again, it didn't go over bad. It was a bad joke, and she was offended to the point where a husband had to step up, and and Chris Rock got to hold that.
Yeah, but I would have loved to see Chris Rock put hands on him, or at least go see this dude. Like, don't just stand there. What you thought? What you thought he was gonna do when he walked up to you?
When he
What you?
walked up,
Yeah. What you thought he was gonna do? What? Help you present the award? What? Come on. Come on, Chris. Like, yeah, that was disappointing, man. That was just disappointing. Shout out to Anthony Price in the Facebook live chat. He says they made a person that does jokes for a living to host a show. People knew he was going to joke around in the stand. Well, that's the thing, Anthony, because I found out that Chris Rock was actually just a presenter at the awards. Didn't Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and the
I don't
other
know.
white girl
I don't
host the
know. I
show?
don't know. I don't know.
That's what I found out.
I know that. I
Well,
know that.
Chris Rock wasn't
I
the
know that.
host. That's all I know.
No, but I do know that Will Packer was the producer
Yep.
or the director of the
Shout out to
show,
him.
and yeah. I look. I don't care about none of that. They had a issue that Will Smith felt like right now I need to address it. He addressed it, and it happened on national TV, and that sucks for people's public image. But at the end of the day, that's a grown man. Meaning Will Smith is Chris Rock is a grown ass man who told that joke. Will Smith is a grown ass man who responded for him telling the joke that his wife was offended by, and that's just what that is.
And
These
Chris
moments
Rock should have
happen.
went to go see Will Smith.
Right. Chris Rock is still Chris Rock at the end of this, and Will Smith is still Will Smith at the end of this. Nobody's legacy has been tainted. None of those things. They're still who they are.
He's on tour, on his comedy tour currently. Like I think
Chris Rock, yeah.
Like I think he was in Boston yesterday, and I think the rest of the mid half of this week. But he's gonna be in Baltimore April 22nd through the 23rd or something like that. I'm thinking about possibly getting some tickets to that show. I don't know if you heard
Do you
this.
think he has? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the Boston shows that he had, the ticket prices went up
Yeah.
after the incident happened at the Oscars. Yeah. So
Yeah, of course they would.
yeah, yep, makes perfect sense. I'm
I
think
wonder did he even address it though? And to be honest with you, I don't think he addressed it that fast.
I don't know. I don't know. I know Will and Jada are gonna address it on Red Table Talk. That's confirmed.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I didn't know that was confirmed, but yeah.
it's confirmed. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
But I would like to see Chris Rock on that platform if that's a possibility. But I know he's on tour, so it's probably not gonna
And
happen.
and I would imagine, and I would, look, man, I'm confident that they're gonna work it out.
Yep.
But time definitely has to pass. It's not gonna happen in 2 weeks. I don't think it's gonna happen in a month. I don't think it's gonna happen in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like
Of
time gotta
course.
pass.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Chris Rock is busy. I'm sure they're busy too. But I know,
Tom's got to
like you
heal
said,
that.
Chris Rock is, yeah.
Tom's got to heal that.
And like I said, that wasn't just a Chris Rock smack. That was Will Smith been getting clowned in respects to his wife for a few years now.
I know.
So with that,
With the August Alcina
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then like I said, also that wasn't the first time Chris Rock took a stab at Jada. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
90. Well, what am I saying? 90 something for?
like
2016.
2016, yeah.
2016. So that was the year where Will and Jada decided they were going to boycott the Oscars because they felt like their work wasn't being recognized enough. They
Will
felt
Smith,
like
he felt like Will Smith should have been nominated for concussion.
right, and they felt like other acts weren't, being recognized for their work and stuff. And Chris Rock was the host that year, and he said a joke saying, "Hey, we get it, we understand Will and Jada's issue, we understand the boycotting and all that stuff, but." He basically said, "Look, it's kind
You
of
weren't
like
invited.
we right. He mentioned Rihanna in the joke. I forget word for word what he said. Basically, he's saying it's like him in Rihanna's panties. He wasn't invited. I think that was the joke. So yeah. So maybe that slap was for that moment. That slap was for all the stuff
Yeah, that
that people
slap
been
was for all
teasing
that.
him about that.
Yeah, that was for all of that.
Yeah, yeah, and kind of like he said in his speech, like as Will Smith, you're supposed to take criticism. You're supposed to accept people not liking you. You're supposed to accept all these things, and I think he's right about that. But at some point, you get to a boiling point, and that was Will Smith's boiling point.
Yep.
So,
Yep. That's it, and that's all.
yep. Shout out to all of the Facebook live chat. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate you viewing us. Also, shout out to all the listeners. One programming note, folks. So we got this episode dropping this week. We also got a episode with our buddy Tyler Butler, who owns his own media company called Sports and Culture Media. Make sure you guys check that out. That episode is going to be dropping Thursday, right, Maestro?
Yep.
No
Yep.
doubt. So make sure y'all check that out. Also, don't forget, folks, check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You can also follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, you can follow us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got the Facebook page as well. So if you want to watch us on Facebook Live, click the like button so that you can get those notifications like Maestro was talking about earlier. And if you got questions or comments about the show, hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So that's it for the show. Maestro, it's been real. We got another one in the books today. We'll get another one next week, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. You have a good week. Peace.
Love.
Recording stopped.